Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning,
sir.
Victoria Tundu, MKO Abiola.
Morning, Stephanie.
Now let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. We'll start from the story about the masthead. el-Rufai laments 95% oil production lost to theft. 6 strong leaders in 2023 says suffering despite natural endowments inexplicable. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria demands removal of VAT from diesel prices, threatens retrenchment. Yes, the usually reticent Tony el-Rufai, banker, investor in oil and gas, power, yes. But this should worry every Nigerian, that as much as 95% of our oil production is being stolen, in plain language. Well, I hope NNPC will come out perhaps to contest that figure. But if we look at that story, where he stated clearly in some of the tweets he sent out yesterday, that out of the 20 years, looking at Bonny Terminal, which usually receive as much as 200,000 barrels of oil a day, now receives just 3,000 barrels. For this quantum of oil theft, we're not talking of petty thieves or those who take this crude and go and do illegal refining. For this quantity of oil to leave the country, because they are not stealing this oil to keep in their backyards, then there must be heavy collusion by people in high places. And Tony el-Rufai quarreled with what are the security people doing? We use our taxpayers to pay them, to fund them, to secure not only our territorial integrity, but our waterways, where vessels coming from outside the country take this oil through. Some time ago, Ruben, you will recall, then President Goodluck Jonathan once lamented that Nigeria is the only country among oil-producing countries where oil is stolen. But it seems to have gotten to a new level with these figures being mentioned by Tony el-Rufai. Is this the radicalization of Tony el-Rufai, or just a capitalist that is concerned that even in capitalism there is decorum? We need to hear from NNPC about this level of theft that is going on. And of course, heads of security agencies, because they have a duty to also protect our waterways, oil installations, so that this kind of looting don't take place. But again, it is what it is, and everybody is worried. Nigeria cannot meet its OPEC quota. Nigeria in the days gone by used to be the OPEC quota buster by going above OPEC quota. But now oil is so high, the price in the spot market, yet we cannot even meet our quota. Yes, divestment by oil majors should also worry Nigerians. But Tony el-Rufai is saying that the reason why we cannot meet our quota is not the divestment that is going on or lack of investment, but oil theft. Now let's just look at other stories quickly. Also on the front page of this day, Soludo talks tough at inauguration, says every criminality must end. But of course, brilliant speech, high expectation from Soludo, technocrat turned politician, former central bank governor. But yesterday, some women decided to mar that inauguration. 2 women, 2 prominent Anambra women, who instigated what descended into a fight. Somebody slapped the other. Former First Lady and Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu in that fisticuff. Well, perhaps Soludo should add anger management to one of his programs that he will deal with, because he has apologized on behalf of these women, but I think he needs to take care of anger management. But these women, in their attitude, don't represent the best of Anambra, and we shouldn't, because we know there are very decent women who have come out of Anambra, prominent politicians like Josephine Aneni, Joy Emodi, Senator Joy Emodi, Uche Kwenife, and of course Stella Odua. These are calm women. I think they should call these two women to order and perhaps teach them lessons in how to behave in public space. Now, if we just look at now the lead story, Bonny overrules Akpanudo, says all Bello's decisions stand. Insists he transferred power to Niger governor to act in his stead. El-Rufai, I am done with this charade. Unless concrete, honest steps are taken to implement agreed plans. Akpanudo Edehe, absent at Yobe's governor's first meeting since return. Other newspapers also feasting on the APC crisis, as it were. APC, the leadership newspaper, APC convention. Bonny endorses Bello's action, moves to douse tension, while the Nation newspaper, Bonny douses tension, rallies APC governors for convention. The New Telegraph newspaper reporting APC convention, governors angry over Buhari's support for Bonny. Of course, no other governor represents that anger more than Nasir el-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State. The Daily Sun newspaper also reporting the story, Bonny to harmonize zoning arrangements with governors. While the Daily Independent newspaper reporting the story, confusion in APC as infighting rocks caretaker committee. Members claim sacking John James Akpanudo Edehe. Nobody can override Buhari's directive. See ECPC scribe. Governor Mai Malabuni backs Governor Sani Bello's action. While the Daily Trust, anxiety as court decides on APC convention today. Now, we expect that this back and forth amongst the governors will continue for some time. But will anybody or any court eventually scuttle the APC convention? We will hear from the court today, and there are a number of other cases. Now, the Punch newspaper, Nigeria borrowed 6.64 trillion, service debt with 2.93 trillion in 2021, says Debt Management Office. Experts, dons, warn federal government as public debt stock hits 39.56 trillion. Economists warn of repayment problems, hard times ahead. He who goes a borrowing goes a sorrowing, as the popular saying goes. Now, the Business Day newspaper, blackout reigns in Nigeria as reforms suffer setback. Many Nigerians are experiencing this, even as they find it difficult to even get diesel, petrol to power their generators. That is the situation in the country today. The president has apologized. I hope we accept his apology. But apology is not what Nigerians are looking for. They want solutions from the man at the helm of affairs. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, EFCC arrests ex-governor Obiano after handover to Soludo. Obiano's wife, Bianca Ojukwu, fight at Soludo's swearing in. Now, for some time, there's been this verbal breakback between Obiano and the EFCC as to what will happen after he leaves office. Well, he did not take the fire share option. Fire share, after he left office, he packed his bag and went straight to EFCC. Here am I.
With his T-shirt.
Here am I. You've been looking for me. I don't have immunity anymore. This is me. Take care of me. What do you want to do? But Obiano headed for the airport, and he has been arrested. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly, the Times of London, Ukraine take fight to Putin. Zelensky forces counter-attack after Russia advance stalls. Invaders have lost an estimated 7,000 troops and 230 tanks. Well, I hope that story is correct. Now, the Daily Telegraph newspaper, Russia targets Patel and Wallace with fake video calls. Cabinet ministers subjected to dirty tricks by impostors posing as Ukrainian prime minister. Well, maybe a familiar trick. While the Wall Street Journal is reporting Ukrainians sift shelter debris for survivors. Theater in Bisay City was bombed by Russians intentionally. Zelensky charges Ruben, Rufai, and Tundu.
Well, with regards to the APC that you just mentioned, I guess the idea, if we can go through it, because it's also convoluted, was to remove Mai Mala Buni, the governor of Yobe State, because he kept on postponing. It was clear he did not want to have the national convention.
And they suspected he wanted to scuttle the convention.
Some people didn't want him holding the party hostage. So they went, a group of people went and got President Muhammadu Buhari's buy-in to replace him. Yeah, well.
Convinced him to replace him.
Whatever. He gave the buy-in, allegedly, to replace Governor Buni with Governor Beno. But then INEC said, not so fast. You haven't fulfilled all righteousness. So that plan could not work. So in order to spare everybody's blushes, an alternative plan was hatched, that every governor should resign from that caretaker committee. So it looks like a win-win, no victor, no vanquished situation. And then Mai Mala Buni went back to President Buhari, who then supported him. Because the onus does lie on the person who gave the support, not the person who went and asked for it. I can come and ask you for anything, but you have a mind of your own, do you not? I don't tell you what to do. Now do I? Yes. So this is really the bottom line. And it's now a complete mess. Yes, it's embarrassing.
Okay, I'd like to comment on the Tony Elumelu story. You dwelt on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Tony Elumelu, the chairman of UBA, United Bank for Africa, chairman Health Holdings, and one of the major investors in the Nigerian economy, has been on the issue of oil theft since the beginning of February, when he declared that, look, Nigeria is losing about $4 billion, had lost about $4 billion to oil theft within the space of about 9 months. And that, in fact, on a daily basis, the country was losing about 500,000 barrels of crude. And that's why we are unable to meet our, our production quota with OPEC. And whereas other countries are gaining, this time that there is a boom in the market, supposedly, Nigeria is losing foreign reserves. You should know, because it's a player in that space. Last year, his company bought OML 17, which is supposed to be as rich, as any other OML. It's an onshore, well, with about 200,000, barrels capacity per day. But do you know that as a result of oil theft, that particular well manages to produce only just about 5,000, barrels of crude per day. So, I mean, he knows what he's talking about. And, at a personal level, at an investment level, he's one of those people suffering it. He cited yesterday the example of the Bonny terminal, forcing Shell to declare a force majeure. So in terms of the facts, it's on top of his argument. So should any country be losing so much just because there is no security for the pipelines, just because there is illegal, assault on the country's oil resources? That is something he wants people to focus on, and I think is right. However, what I see in his contribution was that if you read his tweets yesterday, you could see an investor that is angry. Because he was not just talking about oil theft. He was talking about hiking food inflation. He was talking about poverty, walking on stilts across the country. He was talking about leadership and incompetence of leadership, which is against the tradition. You hardly find a Nigerian big man of his stature criticizing government in the open. And he was saying to Nigerians, look, 2023, you people should take action. Nigerians should choose wisely, because if we choose the wrong set of people who cannot deliver on their mandates, I hope I'm quoting him correctly, then you create this kind of situation whereby, the people will be suffering and hardship will take over the country. I think his contribution on this subject smacks of courage, because it's most unusual. How many big investors like him, billionaire Nigerian, can come out and speak with such confidence?
That's what I'm saying. Is this the radicalization of Tony Elumelu?
The rule is that when you are eating at the table, you don't talk.
You don't talk.
But this is a case of being a big man and talking.
But if your investment is being undermined, whether you are eating on the table, you will talk.
Whatever it is, I like to see it.
And not only him, Atello Peter Saito has been speaking up for quite a while.
No, Atello has been a radical from time.
Let's not deceive ourselves. There are problems on ground. And I'm sorry, that apology didn't cut it for me. People don't have power supply in their homes. There is no diesel. People are crying. We are suffering. It's as simple as that. Solve the problem, government. Simple.
Well, thank you.
Simple. And APC, please don't forget you still have a court order to vacate, please.
Oh, they're finding out about that today,
2023.
Yeah.
Vote wisely.
Vote wisely.
People thought they were voting wisely now, didn't they? You know how that turned out.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Feni.
Thank you too.